99-cent rental.
This is 99 Cent Rental. I'm your host, Brian White, and I'm joined as always by my co-host and brother, Dave. Hey, Dave, how you doing?
Ahoy. I'm doing pretty good. Tell you something. I went out to the cinema last night, and I went to see that movie, Sinners.
Sinners, never heard of it.
Sinners, and I'm going to tell you right now, the hype, she is a real.
Yeah.
It was a great movie. It was a very good movie. It is beautifully shot, acting, top-notch, pretty well written. It's, I'm always hesitant when non-horror people make horror movies. And this is just a straight-up horror movie.
It turns out Ryan Coogler's a horror movie guy.
I guess either that or he's got that kind of Friedkin et al. Touch where it's like we can just make anything. We're that good, and maybe that is the case. He is probably that good. It's a musical, which I did not expect. I knew nothing about it. I knew it was a vampire movie.
Music, but I didn't know it was a musical.
It's not like a musical. There's a lot of performances in it though. Like music is like the sort of central part of the whole movie.
Oh, gotcha.
Like it's the theme of the movie. It's kind of a metaphor, I guess, but everybody in it, really, really good. Music's awesome. Everyone's like, you got to see it at the theater. And now I understand why, because the music is so good and it like surrounds you in this very kind of cacophonous way. It's very cool. But you know what else? The whole theater was sold out.
Shit.
I don't go to the movies for new movies very often. And until very recently, I hadn't been to the movies in like 15 years or whatever. So to go to a movie and have the whole fucking place sold out, that was kind of wild. I
do love that it's still doing box office like a few weeks in.
Yeah.
Because like great. when it dropped, they were like, wow, what a box office return on this. And everybody was like, all the sort of movie rags were talking about how actually this is kind of a loss for Sinners, like in the long run, like this is.
I say it made like $300 million so far.
Yeah. It's he has a really unusual deal where I think after a certain amount of time, ownership of the movie reverts back to him.
Yep.
And I think that it's not the first time that people have done this. It's the first time I'm hearing about it, but I had heard this, and it seems like it was in the movie industry writ large's interest if Sinners was to somehow be a failure. So a lot of the sort of early media, until a certain point when it was like, you guys can't keep writing these. Sinners is on fire, except for this one thing that's going to ultimately be its undoing. And like weeks later, it's still doing very, very good business. And
what was going to be its undoing?
Does
it rhyme with
early?
Flack?
One of the I kind of think that's
Schmack Schmeeple.
That's a piece of it, but also it's an original. It's an original movie. It's not some adaptation of a comic book, or it's not another Star Wars movie. It's not some, $400 million action movie that's shot entirely on green screen. It's an example that sort of goes against the kind of movie industry business model right now, which is, we can't invest in original movies because people don't want those.
Because they just want Marvel.
They want Marvel.
Movies.
They want mine.
Do people still want Marvel movies?
Apparently, that new one is doing quite well. I hear it's all right. I am not super. I used to when that first dropped and that was like a thing that was happening. I was super excited. That was my brand when I was a kid. But like after a little while, it kind of got away from me, and I stopped being interested in it. And like each new addition to the whole Marvel thing just like interested me less and less. And so like I can't remember the last time I actually saw one of those movies in a theater.
I can't remember the last time I saw one of those movies. I don't give a shit about them. I'm not exactly the average moviegoer, but yeah, it doesn't seem like people want those, but
this Sinners is proof positive that not only people want original movies, but people will pay for horror movies, which is, as we've discussed numerous times, is the industry's dirtiest secret.
That's true.
You know,
so it's like porn, and then just a couple steps up is horror. I wouldn't say it's a wholly original movie. It's basically From Dusk Till Dawn.
Sure. But when I say original, I mean constructed from whole cloth.
Yeah,
you know?
like it's a siege movie with a lot of very familiar elements. It just so happens that they're all really fucking good at what they're doing. Yeah. And so it just comes across as is a fucking banger of a movie.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I'm really looking forward to eventually.
I say, if everybody get to the theater, the theatra. Don't bring any candles. Don't bring any large bags with you. Just go. That's all you need. Apparently, you can just bring all the snacks you want now. They don't care about that.
Bring a sandwich.
Pretty sure I saw people going in there with like boxes of crackers and shit. And I was just like, we used to be civilized.
we used to like have to be a dignified people and sneak our snacks into the
movie. You hide that shit down your pants like a normal person. Well, that's what I did. I thought it was great.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna see it eventually. Oh boy, but it's hard to explain to someone who never had the experience of what a trip to the video store was like back in the day. The shelves were choked with absolutely bizarre crap made on tiny budgets, completely divorced from any recognizable reality, and it was the best. We intend to talk about every one of them. Just before we get into it, here's a little housekeeping. If you want to keep up with us between episodes, you can find us on Instagram at Bring Me the Axe Pod, and Dave's over there at That Queer Wolf. Mm-hmm. I urge you to follow. Give us a follow. It's a good time. You keep up with everything that we're doing. And if you don't know, we have another show called Bring Me the Axe, though you probably know that already. Our latest episode covering The Faculty is out now with guest Elena Urquhart from Morbid. Mm. And we'll be back next week with a look at the crucial slasher classic Prom Night.
Oh, so excited.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
I've been waiting 2 years to do that.
I know. It's like we have booted that one 2 years in a row, and that is criminal.
Yeah.
You can also contact us directly at 99centrentalpod@gmail.com with any questions, comments, or suggestions. Do let us know if there's a cheesy movie that you love, would like to hear us give it the business. Also, if you would like to support us on Patreon, you can look us up over there at patreon.com/bringmetheaxepod. There's a couple of tiers you can join there. Subscribers at the $5 a month tier can look forward to our bi-weekly X-Files rewatch pod, Do You Think I'm Spooky? And we also have our monthly Bring Me the Axe Millennium Edition, which is a bonus episode in which we explore a modern horror movie. We are currently, our current episode is us looking at the 2005 absolute dumpster fire of a movie, House of Wax.
It was my idea, and it was a very good one.
There's also my bi-weekly DJ show, Radio Free Haddonfield, in the weeks when Do You Think I'm Spooky is off. You can expect a surprising mixtape of everything from rock to disco to punk over there. And all Patreon subscribers, even the free tier, get access to our Discord server. Paying members get access to additional channels, voice and video chat, and the watch parties option. Friday nights, watch movies with us. It's fun. Once again, that's patreon.com/bringmetheaxepod.
I say do it. I say take your $5 and give it to us.
We deserve it. You know?
I mean, you give us $5. We give you a lot of things in exchange. It is it's commerce. That's how it works.
It's the transactional nature of what we do.
And then this way, we don't have to try and pitch our shit to some network that is going to try and tell us what to do.
Yeah. Lastly, if you like what you hear, you can subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. We're on YouTube now. Search us by name and subscribe if you prefer to consume your podcast that way. And you'll be doing us a favor by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So help us out there. That costs you nothing. Takes a few seconds.
Listen, I happened to see one of the reviews recently wherein I was accused of not liking or not respecting animal attack movies. And I need to correct.
Have they got you wrong?
I need to correct the fucking record. It should be known that animal attack movies, and I include insects in animal attack movies, that is just below ghost stories for me.
You are.
We just haven't had the opportunity to
this
get
is true.
into
We
it.
haven't gotten there, and that's surprising.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do something about that. And if you listen on YouTube, do us a favor. Give the episode a like. Leave a comment. We love hearing from you guys. Just want to get that all out of the way right at the top of the show because, boy, have we got a fucking treat for you tonight.
Oh, it's a good one.
This is so good. I can't wait. I cannot fucking wait. Here we go. Here's a taste.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special treat for you today. We have a new house band with a new dimension in rock and roll. We have the one, the only, Dragon Sound!
This band is the only family I had.
They're all black belts in taekwondo and they're pretty bad.
I don't want you to mess it up by going out with a second-rate musician like that John character.
They came in here to play goddamn songs for kids! Not escape the Miami Ninja!
Boss, everybody's done.
Friends through eternity, loyalty, honesty will stay together through thick or thin. Friends forever will be together. We're on top 'cause we play to win.
Wow. Wow.
Yep. Now, usually sometimes I feel a little weird running the trailers because it's a very visual medium, and all you have to listen to is, whatever the dialogue is happening. But in this case, we get to watch a really awesome trailer of like ninjas and motorcycles and dudes fighting with taekwondo, and you got to listen to two really great songs.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, is this movie incredible? Yes. Does it make any sense? Absolutely not.
None.
Not even a little.
Yeah. So this has been a really martial arts dense period for us. Like we've done Highlander, American Ninja. You must have thought, because you'd never seen this, you must have thought that this was just going to be another fucking kick-ass movie.
I expected some sort of karate.
Yeah. And it turns out that it's actually a lot more than that.
Yeah, it's like Streets of Fire, but if instead of Jim Steinman writing the songs, I wrote all the songs and the movie at the same time.
It's a magical little movie that when this first dropped, it was the hype. Like everybody was talking about it, and I just have a weird sort of aversion to hype, so I just kind of assumed that this was going to be bullshit. And so I held out for the longest time. I just kept seeing pictures and like all the images, and eventually I couldn't put it off any longer, and I watched it, and it completely won me over to such a degree that Grandmaster himself, YK Kim, graces the podcast art for this very podcast.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah.
My aversion to it, I also have an aversion to all things popular. That's when people are like, oh, you got to see this. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't. And of course, the only one I ever end up screwing over in that scenario is me, because eventually I do watch the thing and I'm like, all right, fine, it was good. But I have a particular aversion to things that people think are ironically funny.
Yeah.
Because you may find this hard to believe, listeners. I'm not a mean-spirited person. I don't like making fun of people. I don't like making, especially when they've made something sincere and like they are genuinely proud of something. I would rather ignore it than make fun of it, or that's just not my style. Even when we do make fun of things on this show, it's usually because we also very much like them. I don't think we've sat through anything that's absolute dog shit that we make fun of. There will be one coming up soon, but it is a movie that I also actually think is amazing.
Yeah. And this movie dropped right in the middle of a really sort of fertile period for this kind of like new emergence of cult. Because when I think of cult movies, like I kind of feel like the cult dies somewhere around 1989. And I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the movie industry changed in a really kind of fundamental way.
I'd let it slide a few years, and I'd give it like high 80s, like till like maybe 93.
Yeah. Like that's perfectly reasonable.
Once the internet, once you get message boards, I think that's when things start to fall apart.
It's got to be that, or I don't really know. I can't really figure out what it is, because like you just don't find cult movies in the same sort of volume that you do between the 50s and like the early 90s. Like there is a a thick patch of them right there. And then something happens that changes the way movies are made, in that you just don't, there's no, maybe it's just that the market's changed and there was no longer like there wasn't really even a sort of inner city market, which is where a lot of these movies lived.
But you also couldn't just like go and, if you made a movie, you could usually in like, say, the 60s, late 60s, you could take that around and be like, hey, theater owner, independent theater owner, I want to show my movie here. You really can't do that now because there aren't that many independent theaters left, for one thing. Drive-ins aren't a thing anymore. So like there is no like actual pipeline for low budget or like super indie things. Like it's all top down controlled. And so I think that's probably why. And the sad part about that and the ironic thing about that is that it's easier than ever to make a movie now. Like it's cheaper.
I think, and that kind of dovetails, that sort of leads into why I think all of a sudden around 2010, there were several that sort of hit all at once. And this is one of them. And even though this movie was released in the 80s, it did not make it outside of Central Florida. And it was entirely the Drafthouse's.
Like most things.
It is a terrible gravity to that state. But like the Alamo Drafthouse and AGFA made sure that everybody saw this, but also at the same time, Birdemic came out, which is also a very similar sort of movie where it is an unbelievable pile of dog shit, but it was made by somebody who believed in it with their whole heart and soul, and just wanted to like share this bizarre vision with everybody. And then also, but like and then there was the dark side, sort of reflection of that in Tommy Wiseau's The Room, which also sort of landed in the kind of broader consciousness right around the same time, though he made that movie for entirely different, and I would say to some degree, like malicious reasons, which is one of the reasons why I don't like that movie at all. And I don't see its appeal. I think it's just a nasty, cynical little movie. But
he also sounds like a very troubled man.
I read the book about him, and
Oh, the book is fantastic.
It's a very, very entertaining read.
But it is not a very flattering portrait of him.
That movie is Mark Sesterow's Mommy Dearest, basically. Like it's his little piece of revenge. But all at once there were like these three movies that you had to see, and I think of the three of them, this is easily my favorite, because it has all the characteristics of an exploitation movie, of a sort of 80s martial arts movie, but with none of the cynicism and none of the irony. And I think that even though it was kind of spawned by like the kind of the hipsters who were doing all the programming at the Alamo at the time, Zach Carlson and Evan Husney primarily, they also sort of appreciate it in the same way that I believe everybody else does. Because like everybody that I've talked to about Miami Connection sort of zeroes in on the same thing, that it's incomprehensible, it's completely insane, and it's really weird, but it's the product of YK Kim's like genuine enthusiasm. And that is what kind of leads the movie into everybody's hearts.
I told you, I dug around in like found a bunch of interviews and stuff, and when we get to the reviews, you'll see what I mean. But like everybody, the consensus is that he's just a really, really nice guy.
Yeah.
And he really wants people to like his thing. Like, I say this is my joke about Rob Zombie, but I do actually mean it. It's like, there's a difference between somebody like Quentin Tarantino, who kind of wields their niche knowledge and like awareness of some small thing like a weapon, or in some sort of defensive way. And then there's people like Rob Zombie, where it's like, I think your movies are terrible, but you love this stuff so much, and all you want is for other people to either love it as well or understand why you love it.
Yeah.
You want to share it with the world. Like that is a hard thing to discourage in someone. I would never do that, but like that's he wanted to make this movie. He called it like a love letter to Central Florida for accepting him.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a hard thing to make fun of somebody for. Like,
let's put a pin in that,
nice.
because most of my little cast stuff, like rundown, it's all about YK Kim, because he's a very interesting guy.
Well, and nobody else in the movie. Like it's not like it doesn't have any stars in it.
It doesn't. It does not. I think the most well-known person on the production is the dude who made the music.
Yep. The guy who's the same guy who did Surf Nazis Must Die.
Yeah, and I don't mean the dragon sound music or the sort of the weird.
No,
sort
he
of,
did that too.
Oh no, the dragon sound band is the two people in the band. Is Kathy Collier?
I think he helped them write the songs. Like I think it's called like he has a weird credit in that it's the composer and then like musical concept or something like that.
Okay, because there's also the songs like Escape from Miami that plays at the beginning where it's like ninjas on motorcycles steal all your cocaine and it's like that.
Don't worry, I've got a lot of lyrics written down.
It's like it's like the all the music from Kioma where it's just all the songs are describing what's happening in the movie.
Kioma, now he's riding a horse. Kioma, he loves his woman too.
Yeah. Oh boy. So yeah, let's dive in, shall we?
Okay.
So this movie was released in the year 1987, year of our Lord. And so here were some other martial arts movies that were released in 87. American Ninja 2, The Confrontation was released.
Oh, it's bad. It's so bad. Oh, man.
Yeah, those ones, they just kind of get worse and worse as the years go on. Speaking of worse and worse, No Retreat, No Surrender 2 came out that year.
That's a sequel.
And the first one, not very good either.
No.
We also had The Boy in the Golden Kimono, which is also called Karate Warrior, which is a positively rotten Karate Kid ripoff directed by Fabrizio De Angelis.
Oh yeah, once he started directing, it was really it's a no-go.
Like 6 of those movies. And
Well-
and that first one is heinous.
You got to give him some credit. He was like, "No, I got to keep the thing alive," and they're all like, "No, man, you got to just let it go."
I know, we're going to recover, boys. We're going to recover. No.
Let that little Bava boy make the movies instead. They're better at it now.
Yeah. Also, Sammo Hung's non-exploitation movie Eastern Condors came out that year.
That's a good
That's a
one.
real good one. Yeah. And then closing out.
I believe that has a Criterion edition.
Does it? Oh, it does.
I think so.
Yes, it
I
does.
think it just came out.
Yep. It's actually in the collection. It's not just streaming on the channel. Yeah. It's a very, very good movie. Like for good reason. It's a extremely.
Sammo Hung makes pretty good movies.
Yeah.
Like I would say of that era, of that like the Golden Harvest, peak Golden Harvest era, when like everybody is doing all this shit, I'd say he's top of the game.
When he's working with Jackie Chan, like those guys are unstoppable.
Because they made Police Story, right? Yeah.
Police Story,
The first two are awesome. I've never seen
Meals on Wheels or Wheels on Meals, I think is what it's called. My Lucky Stars. They're Jesus Christ. In the 80s, those guys could not be stopped. And then closing it out, Rage of Honor, which is kind of the last Shokasugi ninja movie for a while. Yeah. Yep.
Who put that out? Who's the distributor?
I don't know if it was canon or not, but it was probably canon because I think they put out all of his other stuff.
Canon.
So our
Sweet bastards.
our cast and crew. Our director is a man named Park Woo-sang, whose specialty was directing bottom shelf martial arts movies for the American market. His movies are a step up from an absolute trash goblin like Godfrey Ho, but not by much. The plots of most of his movies are very similar. A humble Korean businessman in America is just trying to make the American dream happen. And it would happen if it weren't for all these Korean gangsters who want to use him for his martial arts mastery.
Knew it.
And they're all basically Korean Death Wish with dubious
I mean, it's
stuffing.
basically, it's like real life.
It happens every time.
Mine anyway.
Park's involvement in this production is murky at best. Based on the available information, it looks like he hyped Kim up to make the movie, directed the initial cut, and then fucked off, leaving Kim holding a movie that nobody wanted to distribute.
Yeah, the story is kind of it goes like this. Park Woo-sang sees YK Kim on a Korean television show talking about taekwondo. He's impressed by his taekwondo. He's impressed by his sort of business acumen, and he is impressed by how like charming and charismatic he is. And he was like, I must make a movie with this man. And so he's like, he calls him up and he's like, hey, do you want to make a movie with me? And he was like, oh, I'm not an actor. I don't make movies. I own taekwondo studios in Florida. I also don't even live in Korea. This doesn't make any sense. Why are you calling me? And the guy goes so far as to follow Kim back to Florida, where eventually he relents and is like, okay, fine, you got me. I'm in. Let's do it. And so they decide to write this. And he was like, hey, do you know how to write a movie? And Park Woo-sang was like, oh, no, do you know how to write a movie? And he was like, no, I know a guy who is American, I think, and maybe he knows how to write a movie. And he's like, great, get him. That guy doesn't know how to write a movie either. But,
Joseph Diamond.
He takes a real good crack at it.
Yeah.
And thus we have this film.
Yeah. So the way that it actually works out is Park Woo-sang pitches, basically sees him and goes, I'm going to make a movie about cocaine dealing ninjas and a guy who has a rock band who fights them. And that was essentially it. And he took it to Kim, who, like you said, was like, I teach karate, man. And YK Kim wrote the script. Mm-hmm. And then after it was done, he basically spent a year doing edits and reshoots and shit like that. And so that's when he talks to Joseph Diamond about like, hey, can you help me with this? And the kid's like,
and the reason why is because YK Kim, charming as he is, and hey, his English is a lot better than my Korean, it's still a little bit wooden. And so I'm going to guess that he probably needed some help making it sound a little more American.
Yeah. And Diamond was just one of his students. Yeah. As we're going to find out. And the things. Oh,
and he is the star of this film. He is the breakout star of this movie.
Yeah. The things that we're going to learn about Kim is that he has such a force of personality that when he sets his mind to something, he's going to make it happen.
Yeah, this is sort of like Jodorowsky's Dune, except it did happen.
Right. I'm pretty sure YK Kim could have made that movie happen as well. All 10 hours. Yeah,
he would have got Orson Welles his $7 million or whatever.
He absolutely would have. Which brings us to YK Kim, who I believe still holds the South Korea record for the youngest Taekwondo black belt, which he earned at 13, which is truly...
Is Taekwondo Korean?
Yes.
I thought Hapkido was Korean. I mean, there's no reason why they can't have two.
No, there are several arts. It's all sort of stems from the same sort of martial art that emerged from India and moved eastward with Buddhism. And just as it kind of made its way to Japan, where it
okay, now we're going to talk about those Japanese dogs, huh?
right. But yeah, like eventually, like it becomes Taekwondo, and then from there, like it sort of evolves in the same way Kung Fu did, where it's like there are different versions of it, like Hapkido, Tang Sudo. There's like different kinds of Korean martial arts. But
I just want to clarify for everybody, I was not being racist just then. They actually do not like the Japanese for historical reasons.
You look it up. It's boy, that is a legacy.
I said it, and then I was like, that sounds like I'm saying something unkind about the Japanese.
So, to the Koreans, and they got good reason to feel pretty bad about them. So he moves to the United States in the 1970s, and he settles in Orlando, where he sets up a Taekwondo school at the perfect time, since the United States was catching the karate wave in a big way. Kim is a publicity hound with a huge personality, grew to become a sort of local celebrity in O-Town, where I believe the city dedicated an entire day to him, where they still celebrate it. Okay. He comes out and like his fucking students demonstrate Taekwondo and, you know.
And I mean, hey, it's a low bar. Florida is a godforsaken place.
Orlando is a black pit of despair.
I mean, unless you live there, in which place your neighborhood is wonderful, full of beautiful, sunny, happy people, but everybody else is a fucking hillbilly.
It's the thing is nobody in Orlando actually comes from Orlando. Or they all sort of moved there, just ended up there.
Weird choice.
I know. When he arrived, he had nothing. He was effectively homeless and somehow built up a martial arts empire. A large part of his success came from the publicity gained off the back of charity drives that he did for all manner of causes, which raised his public profile in Orlando. And he used those to sort of promote Taekwondo in the city because he fucking loves Taekwondo. Like he does. Fucking loves it. I watched a Vice media show called Outsiders, and they had an episode about him. And like he talks about He talks about what kind of a setback this movie was for him in terms of
Yeah, because he lost a ton of fucking money.
and he gets like and it's like 30 fucking years later, and he is still like thinking about it. He still gets all choked up and emotional and shit. Like this movie fucking ruined him. But because he's YK Kim, he pulled himself up by his fucking bootstraps. It's a weird story. He's still down there in O-Town teaching a vague mishmash of martial arts as the president of Martial Arts World, which is a sort of periodical for martial arts professionals. He's a motivational speaker. He has several books. He franchises his school out in a way that truly embodies what is derisively called the McDojo.
Hey.
But you can't deny the guy's vibe. He seems like a really nice dude who just wants everybody to love Taekwondo as much as he does. And he's a true outlier in the sense that he actually is a sort of self-made story of wealth in America. It's kind of crazy.
Well, you just like Donald Trump. He's like that.
Yeah. But
Or Elon Musk.
yeah, exactly like those guys.
Musky
Started at the bottom, worked their way up to the
He's like a Korean Big Balls. You might say. You might say. I would never.
Yeah, that's definitely my character, isn't it? 10 years ago, the guy who taught me Muay Thai announced that he
Bruce Lee?
He was going what?
Bruce Lee.
Yes, I learned Muay Thai from Bruce Lee.
It's a remarkable feat
No, but he was also
on account of his being dead and all.
Now, this guy also was a Jeet Kune Do instructor, speaking of Bruce Lee, and he learned it from Bruce Lee's number one guy, Dan Inosanto.
Bob.
So I'm that close, even though I was fucking terrible at Jeet Kune Do.
So you're 2 degrees of separation
Pretty
from
much.
from a dead Bruce
we're
Lee.
basically brothers.
Yep.
Me and Bruce Lee. But the guy
And that's Bruce Lee, L.I.
Bruce Lee. He announces he's going away. Classes are canceled for the weekend because he's got to go away and to Orlando to receive an award for martial arts achievement. And I was like, oh, cool. And he comes back and he has a photo of it. He has this certificate. It's like a lifetime achievement award. Cause this dude is like, in my opinion, like one of the greatest living martial artists.
Who is this?
This is a guy named Guy Chase.
I remember him. Bit of a gadfly.
He is a truly original dude. He has the certificate. He puts it up on the wall, and then underneath it, he places a photo of him being presented this award by YK Kim. And I went, holy shit, do you have any idea who this guy is? And he's like, oh yeah, he's like the youngest grandmaster, black belt taekwondo. I was like, no. He directed, starred, and wrote in a movie that you've got to see. And so,
do you like cocaine? Do you like ninjas?
Do you like ninjas?
Do you like, I guess, rock music? Question mark. Do you like keyboards?
Oh, then you're gonna love this one, man.
Yeah.
The rest of the cast has never really been in anything else, nor have they done anything else. I believe Vincent Hirsch, who plays John the bass player, and Joseph Diamond, who plays Jack the drummer, were both students at Kim's, which is why they perform most of the fighting stunts while the rest of Dragon Sound is not around. Angelo Giannotti and Kathy Collier, who played Tom and Jane, respectively, were a married couple of Orlando musicians who actually wrote and performed the songs Friends and Against the Ninja.
And to call them actors feels like a stretch.
Oh, boy.
It's a generous term. The same. You could say that for all of them.
Yeah.
Some of them were a little bit better than others, but it's a real hello. What do you mean they stole our cocaine?
Right.
Oh no.
No, I love the guy who goes to the club to yell at the club owner to give him his job back, and it's like Improv City in that scene.
This guy, I have got a moment with this guy that I was filled with indescribable joy.
Yeah.
I was very skeptical when I started this one, and I was like, it's just going to be a dumb fucking kung fu movie. By the end of it, I'm on my feet, clapping, cheering, singing along.
Has some of the funniest fucking dialogue I have ever seen. So yeah, Kim put everything on the line to make this movie. It's not clear what stake Park had in it, but Kim financed the entire thing himself through credit card debt, loans, and he mortgaged his Taekwondo school. The movie allegedly had a budget of $1 million.
Yeah.
Which
Actually, a little bit more than that is probably the real estimate. I have a thing because they have done periodically, or Orlando Sentinel has kind of checked in just to kind of recap. I think it's sort of like a fun local story for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, except it costs a little bit over $1 million. And so he mortgages his martial arts schools, he borrows money from people, he gets friends to like buy in, maxes out credit cards. I still find it hard to believe that, first of all, they spent $1 million on this, but also that he was able to get $1 million. Because, like, hey, if you're not in Hollywood, if you're not in the film industry, $1 million is a lot of fucking money.
I know. According to Kim, he was completely out of money 10 days into production.
And he did this all because he genuinely believed in the movie. As we've said, he's very enthusiastic, but he was certain that this movie was going to be a fucking blockbuster. And I mean, he had some reason to believe this. He's got people blowing smoke up his ass all day long. I mean, the director in particular, but also like this is late 80s karate and kung fu movies and like martial arts movies are blowing up fucking huge. Like you've got Jean-Claude Van Damme, you've got Steven Seagal is coming out, you've got Chuck Norris, you know, everybody, these kind of like real low end canon and era stuff. Like he has a reason to believe that this will be really good. And so he takes it out to a bunch of distributors and everybody says no. They're not interested.
Which is great. It is so fucking unfair because
that's not all they say. Some of them actually tell him, don't even waste your time with this. Just throw this away. It is garbage. And he was heartbroken by that.
Because the outcome is essentially like he blows $1 million and and it goes nowhere.
He makes $100,000 back. He finally finds a small distributor, makes $100,000 back, and that's it until what's his face from Drafthouse. Yeah. He's like, you know, bidding on eBay auctions or whatever.
He bought a 35 millimeter print of this movie on eBay blind for $40. $50. So it was the minimum bid was 35 and he pays $50 for it. And he was like, he said they screened it for a couple people at the Drafthouse one night and they were like, they went nuts for it. And they were like, you've got to get this out there so other people can see it. And so he like reaches out to Kim and he thought he was like making fun of him. So he hung up on him. Yeah,
a couple times.
I saw Hughesney eventually called him like, I think like 3 or 4 times and eventually was like, as soon as he answered, he was like, wait, please don't hang up. Listen to me, please.
Yeah. And like, he eventually gets them to realize like, I know we are genuinely interested in your movie. We've shown it around. People really love it. Things have changed. People aren't as snooty and shitty. Like, just trust us on this one. And so they eventually kind of make a deal. And then AGFA does the distribution. They own the rights, but I think he gets a significant portion. And then obviously Vinegar Syndrome comes in and does the Blu-ray release. Yeah. And I think there's a 4K out now of it. I don't know what difference 4K is going to make, but
it's a rough looking movie.
Yeah. The one I watched it on Pluto, which I think is one of the free services. And there were ads like, I'm going to say generously every 10 minutes.
Oh no.
I was in. It didn't matter.
So because this movie stuck out at the time in his memory as like a real sore spot. Like this fucking
like even if you loved the thing you were doing, lots of people have marriages that they leave and don't want to ever talk about again. So it just hurts to bring it up.
Yeah, Drafthouse starts calling him and he's like, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to hear this shit anymore. Because as it happened, like on top of the fact that like nobody wanted to distribute this movie and that it went into like, I think 8 theaters in Florida.
It was a little bit more than that. It ended up in like maybe 15, 16 theaters, but they took it to Germany as well and showed it in a bunch of theaters there and a couple festivals.
Yeah.
But it was not well received.
And it vanished after a few weeks. He took a fucking bath on this movie and then the reviews came in.
Yeah. And you want me to just go for it?
Go for it.
Because I only was able to find 2. Because
that's probably all there really were.
And they're both from Florida.
They're definitely way more now. But
Now, I will preface both of these by saying these 2 critics make it very, very clear from the start they wanted to give this a good review. Like, it pained them to have to be honest about this movie because they really, like, especially the Orlando Sentinel, they really liked him. Like, the guy did a bunch of interviews with him, loved Kim, and so he's like, I wanted to give this a good review, but he really couldn't. So here we go. This is Jay Boyer from the Orlando Sentinel. What makes it so hard for me to be what makes it so hard for me to be as kind as I'd like to be is that by any reasonable standard, Miami Connection is, well, bad is such an ugly word. Let's just say disappointing.
Oh, no.
Still, that doesn't mean there's nothing nice to say. After all, the film is in full color. Certainly, that is something to boast about. Better yet, virtually all of the actors enunciate distinctly. Oh. I can also state unequivocally that Miami Connection is the best Orlando-made movie to open since Daryl, which was also the last Orlando-made movie. Oh. He was really, like, it sounds like he's being snotty, but he's trying to laugh off the fact that, like, this pained him to have to do this because he is just like, he then goes on to talk about, like, how nice a guy this is and how, like, it, you know, obviously they put so much effort into the fight scenes and the choreography, but he's like, it still sort of feels like you're just watching, you know, like a match of some kind, like a practice or whatever.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. If this movie is objectively terrible. The acting is so fucking bad. The dialogue is atrocious. The fighting, however, I will say I don't know much about it, but I think it looks pretty good. It's extremely remarkable because, like, the thing is that when I heard that distributors just would not fucking touch this movie, like, you got to be kidding me, because there were so
couldn't even put this in a drive-through though.
There were so many movies made by produced for Canon that featured like Chuck Norris and shit with like the sloppiest, shittiest martial arts.
Yeah, but they had a draw. Scenes. They have a name attached to them, and that's really all that mattered.
But the fight scenes in this are like truly impressive.
They're pretty good.
And they're choreographed well, and they're performed extremely well.
And so Juan Carlos Cotto from the Miami Herald, a little less generous. He says, "We always hope for the best from Florida-produced independent film, but Miami Connection is hopelessly bad. Kim and his students can't act, and Miami Connection's script is barely written. The dialogue sounds like it came from a high school play, and I would say that is an overstatement." Yeah, he definitely didn't like it. And it is probably worth saying that when it comes to regionally produced films, or at least like regionally produced genre films, Florida has cranked out a lot more than most states.
Yeah.
Because you have, what's his name? William, is it Greffa?
I think so. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I've only ever seen it in writing.
He made like 10 movies. Fucking love all of them. Yeah, there's just like shitloads of people. Like Florida was the place to be for independent if you wanted to make like your own movies. Florida, Texas was a big one too.
Arizona seems to be the one these days.
I think because you've got a lot of dudes with a lot of money that they don't know what to do with.
It's any high concentration of retirees, really.
Yeah. And I am on record as saying I love regional films. I think they're fantastic. I love when anybody is willing to be like, I could totally do that. And then they do, because, hey, it's easy to do it now with your fucking iPhone. Back then, it cost a lot of money to get this shit. Film itself was extremely expensive. Mm-hmm. And you had to know how to use these things. And that's not, you can't just pick it up and turn it on.
Right. Because like when you're working, particularly like not all film is the same. And not all 35 millimeter film is the same either. Right. Like, when you light a scene, you have to use a particular kind of 35 millimeters to accommodate that light. So it's not just like all blurs and people like morphing into one another and shit. It's a skill, you know?
That's why I will usually, unless it is really, really bad, I will usually stick it out through any of these movies because somebody fucking made this thing, and that is an achievement. To say, like, I have never made a movie. I never will make a movie, but like, it's certainly a lot easier now. Like you had to go out, get all this stuff, find someone who knew how to use it, tell them what to do. Cause certainly they didn't know what to do. Like, it's really impressive that people were like, I'm just going to do this. And then they did.
Yep.
Like that takes a certain amount of passion that you got to respect.
Yeah. Yep. So shall we dive in?
I can't see as we have much choice.
All right. Because this is the best part. So we open on a port in Miami by night. Shady dudes in fedoras, heavily armed, wait around looking paranoid.
That's right. Somewhere in Miami, sexy criminals are doing shady, sexy business.
Yep. Unbeknownst to these bad guys, even more bad guys are creeping up on their spot.
And how do you know what year it is? Well, one of them has an Uzi.
Yep. A bunch of ninjas on motorcycles ride up and sneak up on their shit.
Now, this is in the, I'm going to guess the scrap yard?
It's like a port of some kind.
Because they are in like a giant, like it just looks like a wrecked metal everywhere, just twisted wrecked metal.
It looks like the set of an Italian Mad Max movie.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. And all the guys are running around. So like, obviously none of these people are actually actors. They're like, you know, do what you do in an action movie. So they've all got like linen suits on. Everybody has watched Miami Vice. I guarantee you.
Uh-huh.
And they're all like running around and they're like, just do your best guy in the courtyard at the end of Enter the Dragon. Like everyone's just like running around with their guns, like do quick turns and like whipping around and, you know, like head on a swivel.
Yep. So when the shady dudes think the coast is clear, they do a big old cocaine deal.
And the cocaine is in crates where they have just one layer of Girl Scout cookies just right across the top. Move those. There's all your cocaine.
Yep. Huge bags of booger sugar.
Sly. Very sly.
I tried to like refer to cocaine as like a different like slang term for it. And then
like going downhill skiing nose first.
Eventually I just kind of gave up.
I remember that one from, I think it was like fifth grade.
That's from Get in the Van.
Oh, is it? Because I remember that one from like fifth grade, life skills class.
What, downhill skiing? Mm-hmm. No, that was from one of Rollins's diary entries. So, it's all looking good until ninjas start throwing ninja stars around, killing one of the nose candy goons. And then they attack, chopping dudes' arms off, slashing their heads with the cocaine guys, fire away with their little submachine guns.
And everybody is dying like they are in a 1940s Western.
Yep. Like slowly, like sliding out of frame and shit. After a lengthy and a not half bad gunfight set to some sweet synthesizer music, the ninjas grab the blow and disappear into the night on their noisy ass but admittedly very cool motorcycles.
I assume that's what happened because they must have spent all their money on things other than lights because you can't see a goddamn thing in this scene.
No, they were relying on the muzzle flash from the machine guns.
That's pretty much all you get.
Yeah. Back at their hideout, they're addressed by their leader, a ninja in a white suit and a big old napkin on the front.
Mm-hmm.
He gives them a hard time because they took the drugs, but they left the money. But don't worry, he has it covered. He managed to cover it, to grab it before he left. He just wanted to bust their chops.
Yeah, they moved the stones, but they never moved the bodies.
So now we cut to a title sequence, a hot rock and roll song that is describing exactly what you just saw.
And you're wondering, well, what does that sound like? Bikers by day, ninjas by night, swift and fit, not afraid to fight. Steal all your cocaine along with your life. Yeah, my note just says this song rules.
It is amazing. It is fucking amazing. Get used to it because it's the shit. It's just
half my notes are just quotes from the movie.
It's just the first of many musical treats you're gonna get. So then we cut to Orlando, Florida, which is not Miami.
No, it is about us. I feel like Cambridge, Massachusetts is more Miami than Orlando is Miami.
Some scuzzy and very Florida men hang out, waiting for the ninja bikers. They're going to Club Park Avenue, who has a hot new house band, a new dimension in rock and roll, Dragon Sound.
Dragon Sound.
I know. And
I will say, every dude in this movie that's not in Dragon Sound, the bad guys, they are what Jeffrey Craner often calls dirt bike shitheads. Like, these are just some real fucking Florida looking dudes.
Oh god, there is one guy who I'm going to point out.
We'll call him Leather Hat because I don't know his actual name, but we'll call him Leather Hat.
Exactly who I'm talking about. Yeah, I lived down there for a few years, and I thought that I had actually been to the club that was in this movie. It looks like a club that I saw I saw Hot Water Music and Less Than Jake at a place called Club Firestone, and I thought that Club Firestone was the club in this, but there was actually a club down in Orlando called Club Park Avenue. So they just shot there. They didn't change the name.
Club Park Avenue. Like, everyone in the 80s, everyone was just like, what's the sexiest, hottest name you can think of? Park Avenue.
Yeah.
They're like, where are the girls going to get their titties out? Park Avenue.
No, that they're going to do that at the biker bar.
And boy, do they ever.
Yeah. But like, there are a bunch of locations in this movie that I was like, oh shit, I'm in there. That's cool. Yeah.
Hey, there is nothing cool about Orlando, Florida. Let's just be clear. All right.
Yep. So now Dragon Sound perform a badass song about how they're all really good friends. If you've ever played Far Cry 3, The Blood Dragon, and beat it, you have heard this song.
You have. And also, most of them aren't even pretending to play their instruments.
So
they are just rocking out.
I would say that for the most part, the whole band, passable job, except YK Kim, who wields a guitar like he's never seen one before.
Do you remember the 1-800 Cars for Kids commercial?
Yes.
I have seen a more convincing band in the 1-800 Cars for Kids commercial than in this. Like, they're not even touching the strings.
Oh, man. Kim does that thing where they give a guitar to a person and they're like, here, pretend to play the guitar. And they're a person who just does not know how to play guitar. And he has the thing where he kind of strums it with his thumb and shit. But also, the guitar is not plugged in.
And also, you're like, you're supposed to press down on the strings, right? That's what makes the sound.
The strap is down around his waist.
Yeah.
he is excitedly pressed, but also he is going for it. Like, he does
really
not care.
is.
He
He's
wants you to
enthusiastic.
know that rock and roll is the name of the game. And the whole thing is the band is all they've got red shirts that say Dragon Sound, and they're all wearing like karate gi pants.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got a girl singing also, who's the sister of one of the scuzzy guys who came in with the cocaine ninjas. And he
says, because he's like, that's my sister. And when I heard him say that, I was like, does he mean like his like, hey girl kind of sister, or like his actual sister? Because this man is not very convincing.
Nope. No, he is not happy that she's up there rocking out with Dragon Sound.
Well, it's one man in particular he has a problem with.
Yep. So we catch up with Dragon Sound the next day at school. They're all students at the University of Central Florida.
Now, see, I missed that part. I missed that they were students, because we're going to come back to that later. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. Apparently there was actually a scene where they're all in class that got cut. Jane attends her computer programming class as the teacher announces that their programming team placed 4th in some contest. It's their own movie, and they couldn't even make these guys win first place.
That's what my note says. It's a fictional movie that you wrote, and you still decided that in the international computing competition, they would come in 4th.
YK Kim is a humble man.
I guess so. He's like, hey, look, I know how good we are, and we're not 3rd place good. We are fourth place good at best.
I know. So now we got John, the bass player for Dragon Sound. Is he the one you called Gay Joey Ramone?
No. Gay Joey Ramone is the other one, the Jewish one.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm only saying the Jewish one because he makes
the drummer.
Yeah, he makes a point of it later.
So we're going to go to Israel. John, the bass player for Dragon Sound, drops by to say hi to Jane and then clown around. And then they leave when class is over. And we learn that he's never met any of her family because everybody in this movie is an orphan.
Yeah.
Mike, it is pathological.
But then like her brother shows up, and how do you know that her brother is a badass? Well,
all camo.
He not just all camo. That's a Hampton Beach badass. But how do you know? He parks across 2 spaces in his car, and one of them's a handicap spot.
Oh shit, bad guy. Yep. Yep. She only has a brother who pays for her to go to school, but she doesn't like him. And then they all meet up in the parking lot as a convoy of bad dudes come riding in like crazy people and bust up the good times.
Parking across two spaces.
Yep. Jane's brother Jeff freaks out on John immediately, punches him in the face. And then
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's just a friend. And then he kicks him in the chest. You know, like you do when you meet someone new.
Yeah, and then Jane freaks out on him because I don't know.
And then the dubbing is so wildly out of sync at this point that like no one is talking and yet you can still hear the dialogue.
Yep. Mark, played by YK Kim, steps in to break it up with some real awkward dialogue.
Yeah.
The thing is I don't want to pick on his accent because that dude speaks English fluently.
Like I said, he speaks better English than my Korean.
However, it is really hard to tell what he's saying sometimes.
Thank God there were subtitles for everybody, not just for him. The audio is muddy as fuck.
Yeah. Back at Club Park Avenue, the old house band, looking like a Bachman Turner Overdrive cover band, drop in to demand their job back. The club owner argues with them at what sounds like some really wild improv, and then he whips their asses with taekwondo.
And then when they're leaving, he goes, next time I'll kill your ass.
Right. This is the scene where the guy's like, that band comes in here, they play music for kids.
It is. So I don't know if I was confused or just not paying attention or what, but like it was like halfway through the movie when I was like, wait a minute, that's the other band? This is all about they're getting their job back at the club?
Yeah.
See, that's the problem with the movie is you never really quite know what it's about because it changes focus quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, there are certain times where I was like, okay, so are these guys not okay? Are all of these people ninjas, or is it just the ninjas in Miami? Are these guys all in one gang? Or
that was
completely unrelated.
That was my biggest question. Was like, wait, who's aligned with who here? Because you've got Dragon Sound, hot, young, sexy Miami connection.
Yeah.
You've got Miami Ninja, who are just ninjas, just innocent ninjas, normal ninjas.
Normal ninjas.
And then you've got this band who, for all intents and purposes, they're like Genesis. Like they're like middle-aged white dudes. They're a little paunchy. And I'm like, wait. What do they have to do with any of this story?
Zach Carlson calls them vengeful dads.
It's very much that. It's like guys with Phil Collins hair, and they're a little bit overweight. They've all got linen suits on, and I'm like, are they the band? Are they the drug deal? Are they both?
So yeah, the guy who is presumably the head of the sort of oppositional band apparently was like a federal prosecutor down in Florida.
I mean, he has federal prosecutor hair.
He definitely does. Yeah.
So you're like, oh, is it a wig? No, it's federal prosecutor hair.
No wigs in this movie.
None. Couldn't afford them.
Nope. So Jeff calls down to Miami to report some problems up in O-Town to the Coke Ninjas, who are hard at work training on some nature fitness trail.
Yeah, he's like, you need to get rid of that band so you can control that area. And I thought, what? I'm sorry, what?
I know. The general story of this, there's as much of a story to this as there is a story to Double Dragon or Streets of Rage.
Yeah, except there's no Scott Wolf to look at in this movie. At best, you get gay Joey Ramone.
I mean the video game where it's just...
Oh, no, they're the same thing.
Where you just
the plot of the game,
the
plot of the game, the plot of the movie are the same thing.
Yep. So yeah, Jeff meets with Yoshida, the ninja leader. The problem is that with Dragon Sound taking over as the house band, they don't have their own band in there, Dealin Blow or something.
I guess.
I think I'm filling in the blanks here a little bit on my own.
I mean, that is a fair inference, I think.
Dragon Sound, meanwhile, drop into a restaurant for some grub, and then they head over to club to perform a song called Against the Ninja about how they'll fight ninjas with taekwondo.
And what's her name? The Lady Dragon Sound, we'll call her.
Jane.
She is dancing and kind of stomping her feet, but she's so out of time that it is extremely distracting.
The audio track is out of sync with the film.
It's like it is super distracting.
It is.
And it is against the ninja, we will fight to battle the sin.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's This is vaguely Christian sounding.
We will. What is it? We will fight the evil something. We will fight. We will end this evil war.
Yeah. And then it reminded me of that time we were working at the record store and we were listening to that band Element 101. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you were like, hey, wait a minute. They're a Christian band.
Yeah, that shit just sneaks up on
And
you.
I was like, God damn it. I liked this band.
Uh-huh.
They tricked me.
So
Even I fell for their clever ruse.
well, you were getting a lot of stuff from Tooth and Nail at the time, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, because I had a connection.
Yeah.
That was a good record, though.
Yeah.
Jesus or no.
Yeah,
but
right.
she's also wearing a surprisingly unflattering outfit in this scene. It's like someone made an entire pantsuit out of Madonna's lace gloves from the Like a Virgin video.
Not an unfair assessment. So yeah, Jeff and his scuzzy coke dealing bozos and the old house band wait outside the club for Dragon Sound, and then they follow him downtown where they box him in and force him to have a rad street fight. And
So
then
my question here was like, was the rival gang? So they do sort of follow them, but they end up kind of running into a wall of other gang members. Like they get them sort of trapped. My question is, were these other ones just sort of like waiting there on the off chance that they were going to roll up? Like, what if they took another route home?
they had to go through Church Street Station to
I mean, Orlando's a big city. It's
Not
got a lot of
really.
highways.
It isn't really. No, but
A
that
lot
is
of 9-lane highways.
when they got down there and they stopped there. I was like, oh shit, that's Church Street Station. I've been there. There's bars. I bought some shoes there once.
This is also where I realized they're upset because they lost their job to the other band.
Yeah, that's entirely
I
what's happening
didn't
here.
pick up on that until this moment. And this is a good third of the way into the movie.
Right.
Because literally my next note is, I'm so confused.
Yeah, the boys all get out of the car and they fuck shit up. And it is
And he starts pouring beer. Like the guy, her scummy brother is like, he starts pouring beer on people. And the best part about it is like, it's the 4 dudes in the car and they're all like, they know what's coming. So they're all just sort of like sitting there stock still waiting for someone to pour beer. Like he knows it's about to happen. So like, you can tell like gay Joey Ramone is really tensed up in the back because he's like, I know it's coming. Just do it. We'll get it over with. Come on, man. Great.
It's great.
So good.
And the fight scene is kick ass. It's really, really good.
And then they all drive home after a successful rumble.
They do. Back home, Jim, Dragon Sound's keyboard player, gets a letter from Washington, D.C. after John teases him with it.
Oh my God.
Get fucking fasten your seatbelt.
This moment is good in itself, but it is only at the end when this moment gets clarified for you.
Uh-huh.
And I was just like, oh no.
Jim's been writing to the government trying to track
So
down his father.
Jim is like the black member of the band. Like he's very like, just let your soul glow.
Yeah.
and-
Jerry curl like crazy.
Yeah. And so he's like, oh, I got to find my dad. Cause they're all orphans.
Every single member of Dragon Sound is an orphan.
Because this is when Kim, I think what is his name? Mark?
Mark.
He says to them, they're sitting at the table and he's like, cause he gets the letter. He's trying to find his dad and he gets the letter and he says, I didn't know you had a father. I thought we were all orphans. And I thought, what? And then he says, no. And he's got like tears in his eyes. He's like,
oh my God, this is like community theater dramatic moment. He is making tears happen.
yeah, he is pulling nose hairs. He is doing he's thinking about a dog that he had to have put down not that long ago. And he says, my mother was Korean and my father was Black American. And like, he talks about like how his father ran off and he is forcing out those tears. And I was like, what is happening? This dialogue is insane. And I love it.
It's the craziest shit.
And then like Mark tries to like come in and he's like trying to mediate. He's like grabs him like by the arm and he's just like, I love you, brother. And it's so insane. It is off the wall.
Mm-hmm. When the tears are all done, they go to the beach and frolic in the surf.
Like, hey, what are you going to do? You get a letter that, we actually don't really know what the letter says. We just know that his mother was Korean and his father was Black American.
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to find said Black American father at this point. We are to assume this letter is a denial of some kind. What do you do after you get such a letter? Well, you go to the beach and you sexually harass some ladies is what you do.
Yep. They'll drive along the beach, catcalling the ladies. They pass a dude with a sign advertising a nudist Christian church, which invites you to repent in the raw.
Yeah, just out there cruising, touching ladies when they don't want it or didn't ask for it. You know, just yelling nasty stuff at them.
What is it? God, I can't remember his name. Tom, maybe.
The one who looks like John Oates.
Yes.
Yeah, the one.
I was saying he looked like Mickey Thomas, but John Oates will work as
So
well.
in my notes, I refer to him as Kitty Paws. Now, and here's why. So John Oates, he sees some ladies on the beach that he presumably likes the look of, and he kind of goes prancing up on them, you might say, and he's doing that like that Kitty Paws thing, like he's prancing up, and he's like, oh, please, my lady. Can I have a little kiss, please? Now, she doesn't slap him in the face. She should have slapped him in the face. But she's like, no, man, get the fuck out of here. We're just trying to have a good time on the beach in Orlando.
Yeah.
That seems like a really hard thing to do.
Orlando. Orlando is all swampland and lakes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
This is Daytona.
Daytona, let's go away. Let's go away. Yeah, so they just sexually harass the crap out of these ladies.
And she shoves him away and he lands right on the boobs of some lady in the sand. And she's like, oh my God, who are you? And then her and her like 3 friends, they pelt him with what I would describe as an Imelda Marcos of shoes. Like they have so many.
That is a metric ton for those who are not.
It is just shoe after shoe after shoe. Like some production assistant just keeps handing them shoes to hit him with.
Heels, flats, boots, spikes, sandals.
Everything you can think of. It is crazy. It goes on forever too.
Yeah, this scene is so fucking long. It is a legit friendship beach montage that I'm going to say doesn't hold up well over time. No. Because you know what's not cool? Sexually harassing ladies.
Listen, hey, look, one man's flirtation is another man's sexual.
I'm going to say it right now. This is the position of this podcast. I'm making it very clear. If you ever think to yourself, I should go up to that lady and touch her body anywhere, what you need to do is go home, Google a therapist, get a therapist, and do not talk to women for 5 more years until you're ready.
Live a real monastic experience.
Until you're ready to not instinctively put your hands on other people. Okay?
Yep. Meanwhile, John and Jane make out in the surf. It is
super
awkward.
Awkward as hell. It goes on for so long. And I think they're trying to do like the swept away moment on the beach. Like,
oh God, that's what it is.
Or like the Montgomery Clift Elizabeth Burton moment from From Here to Eternity?
Eternity.
Like they're trying to do that, but it's just the gross fucking Daytona Beach shores lapping up on fucking seaweed and tampons.
I was gonna say to put this beach into perspective, the scene from It's Always Sunny where they go to the Jersey Shore and like Frank is getting stuck by like hypodermic needles in the sand and shit. It's that. There's like wild dogs everywhere. It's pretty gross.
Yeah, it's as romantic as this would be if you're doing it on Hampton Beach. Or like Revere Beach, you know?
Oh no.
Real high class location.
Yeah. So meanwhile, at the Coke Goblins gym, all the goons work out and fight.
Now I wonder, this has got to be the first time any of these men have been in a gym.
They all kind of look at the equipment as though it's like alien artifacts.
Because these are like if I were in a different company and I said leather dude, that would evoke a certain image. Yeah. When I say it in reference to this movie, I'm not quite sure how you should take it.
These guys do a lot of 16-ounce curls, you know what I'm saying?
These are the kind of guys that drink Sparks. These are the kind of guys
who buy. These are the guys who buy the pills that are next to the cash register at the gas station.
Yeah, like, and they're like, they smoke like whatever the cheapest cigarettes are. And they're still really
full
expensive.
flavor because they cost $1.
No cigarettes cost $1, and they have it for about 15 years. But it's that kind of guy. Like, these are the scummiest looking dudes, like wispy mustaches.
Yep.
Leather hat.
Yep. The old house band drops by to report the bad news. Dragon Sound whipped their ass last night. The most Florida of Florida men taunt them.
I have to say, the main drug dealer walks in. He has a bandage wrapped around his head, like full bandage wrapped around his head. It looks like someone shot him in the head. It is stained, blood stained, and it's like this happened 2 days ago.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Why does it look like someone just stabbed you in the face?
It's
on your way into the building.
It's wild. Yeah. So the deal is, if Jeff's goons can kick the shit out of Dragon Sound, pressure the owner to hire the old band back, they'll join forces. And he says, any money I make is yours.
Yeah.
It's like, doesn't that kind of...
No, look,
apparently he's just in it for the rock and roll.
You know what? What does my note say? He's in it for the love of the game. He is so desperate to get this singing job back that he is willing to hand over all future earnings. And now when I say he's in it for the love of the game, I mean he's in it for the love of white blues. Yeah. I'm talking, do you remember when Bruce Willis was on Saturday Night Live?
Oh,
that's
God.
this band.
Yeah, no, he is in love with the wild shirtless lyrics of Mark Farner and the bong rake rattling bass of Mel Shacker and the competent drum work of Don Brewer.
Not my Grand Funk.
So back at UCF, Mark, John, and Jack do a taekwondo demonstration for no one.
Oh, and these
particular.
are so painfully long.
It really is. Like, this was definitely a condition of making this movie. Like, I want to just show you how cool taekwondo is.
And it's so, it's like, but it's playful.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
There's one point where he does like a fist thing, and they stop just before he punches the guy in the face. It looks like he's about to fit his whole fist right into his mouth.
I saw a
very
dude,
just before dawn. Like,
I saw exactly.
Look, if you guys have not seen Just Before Dawn, just fucking go watch it. It is the greatest ending to any movie ever.
I once saw a guy get punched like that, and one of his teeth came out embedded in the dude's fist. So
I bet that hurts a lot.
Probably.
I bet it's dangerous too.
Right.
Because your teeth, fucking filthy.
Yep. Best beware. If you learn TKD from Mark, he's probably going to do that thing where he honks your nose with his foot.
Okay, so my next note says, this is what I would call languid taekwondo until he picks him up by the nose with his foot.
Mm-hmm.
And then they end the whole thing with a handshake because they really love each other,
They're friends for
It's kind of like on Drag Race when they're like, we're fucking sisters. And it's like, this is a competition. I know, but we're fucking sisters. That's this. But with taekwondo.
Yep.
And a fist in the mouth.
The final demo involves Mark defending against John with a knife. John comes up behind him, but Mark reverses the attack and slowly stabs him. Remember that move for later.
Yeah, we're going to call that, I guess, Chekhov's fake stab?
Yep. Chekhov's knife reversal. And then they enjoy a nice cold Pepsi.
They really do. And then while they're all hanging out, we get what I will say is probably the best part of the entire movie.
They plan.
Now, they've got some new ideas. We could write another song about taekwondo. And when we're done, we can all break boards. That apparently, for Mark, is a little too ostentatious.
Right.
A little too gauche.
Right. It's a little in your face,
Yeah.
But Jack doesn't want to play the club anymore, but they have to because that's how they make money and they pay for school and all that.
But wait a minute. What if there was another option? What if, say, you could go on a world tour?
Yeah, like we could go to Ireland and demonstrate Kung Fu or Taekwondo.
Yeah, or maybe they could just go to Korea, where Mark is from.
Or they could go to Israel,
where gay Joey Ramone is from.
Yep.
It is the most bizarre moment because they're just like, yeah, let's do it. And it's just like, what the fuck is happening? this movie.
Just filling time, man. We're just filling time. This
It's
movie
just
is not
dudes-
even 90 minutes long.
And it's just dudes getting so excited because there's just like, we're going a world tour. You know, we'll go like Ireland and Italy and Korea and Israel, you know, the world.
Yep.
Because
Elsewhere,
Taekwondo is what helps dragon sounds stick together to be strong and gentle.
elsewhere in town, some ruffians dine and dash at Uncle Song's restaurant. This is why he hasn't been working out with Dragon Sound too.
Oh, but they're gonna get such a big pizza. Gotta get a big pizza. They all walk in and they're just like, gotta get a big pizza. I love pizza. Pizza's so good.
Yeah, he's got too many bad guys to deal with. So when they leave, he follows them out, and after a scuffle, he whips their ass with Taekwondo. Isn't Taekwondo awesome? See all the ways you can use it to defend yourself and your business? You should learn Taekwondo.
Yeah, it'll teach you to be strong and gentle, like Dragon Sound.
One of the dudes is wearing a pair of booty shorts that look like tighty whities.
Nice.
Yeah. We also learned that Taekwondo also lives in the head and the heart, as we see Mark demoing TKD at the club as Dragon Sound plays. He does the nose honk thing again. So on the way back to their car, Mark finds a note. Jeff and his gang want to fight Dragon Sound at the railroad tracks, and they have
Now, what I love here about them is that these fucking scummy bastards, all of them, all these scummy assholes from Florida, they're not so scummy. They can't make a formal invitation.
right.
And then when they make that formal invitation, they're not so déclassé that they can't fold it in such a manner as kids fold the MASH note thing that they do with their fingers. That's what they do. They leave a little note on his windshield that's like, hey girl, got a problem with you. Want our old job back. Meet me at the scrapyard at Daytona Beach,
Yep.
5 o'clock.
Yeah,
Peace.
So they have to go down there and kick ass. Jane goes over to the Coke Gang's gym to yell at her brother, and he doesn't want her to see John ever again.
My favorite part of the note thing is like he reads it and he's like, well, I guess we have no choice. I'm like, really? You have no
It's like-
choice?
Like, listen, guys, I know there's no movie if you do this, but maybe call the cops.
Like, hey, he left a note. What can I do? I have no choice.
No.
I have to go.
He is honor bound to fight them at dusk.
And this guy is real handsy with his sister in a way I don't like.
So now Jeff and his scummy gang of Coke goblins hang out at the tracks waiting.
Yeah, they're like, meet us down at the old corn sweetener plant. We're going to end this thing tonight.
John rolls up with Mark and Jack to finish the fight. They jump out of the car and stand dispensing with the ass kickings.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we get into a big mo. Like, this is a big rumble. Like, and I don't mean like the Jets and the Sharks mambo monk, like that kind of rumble.
Is three dudes just beating up on like a mob of beer-soaked slobs.
And Leather Hat, who in this case is wearing his leather hat.
I
and
call him squirrely little meth guy in a crop top.
he is absolutely that. He's got a half shirt, crop top on. He's got his leather hat. And at one point, he's like kind of the comic relief in this moment. But he like jumps up and he's like shimmying and shaking his shit all over the place. Like, I guess
Dance
it's
fighting?
supposed to be funny, but it's just like, why are you shaking your tits at him?
It's just the way just shimmying at him. It doesn't help the fact that he looks like a drug addict. I have no other way to describe him.
I know you haven't seen a lot of Bob Miser photographs, but
Probably not. No.
a big thing in the physique, the physique photo world of the 50s and 60s will come as a surprise to you. Those are really just homosexual magazines. And he would go out and find like clearly like dudes. He had like a fetish for like dudes that were like just out of prison
Oh fuck.
and looked real fucking rough.
Rough trade.
Yeah, they really were. Like, that is where that term comes from. And that is what these dudes look like. Like, they look like dudes that are like, they've been in prison before. Maybe not for very long. Because, like, their brother-in-law works for the sheriff's department. They usually get them out.
Yeah.
But, like, it's that. Like, it's like, oh, this is like, you're trying to make the best of your life. You're learning Taekwondo. You met this guy. But also, you know, this is just where your friends are.
Yeah.
Stick with what you know.
You got no choice. This is who you're hanging with.
This is life on Hampton Beach. What can I say?
The M Street Blues.
I didn't say stay in Hampton Beach, but they did it.
Nope. When the cops show up, the dudes all scatter. They're gonna have to finish.
Oh, but where do they scatter to?
Well,
they scatter to the bar.
oh yes, they do. Down in Miami, the biker ninjas all head north, and it looks like they popped into Bike Week at Daytona.
Oh, man.
This is a mob of rough-looking dudes. They're all real bikers with their old ladies. All the ladies have their boobs out, and it looks.
so
and
one
all
of
of them look like they're smoking 3 packs a day, easy.
My note says one of these ladies looks like she's been opening beer bottles with her teeth. And then there's the gang, and this is how badass these ninjas are. Their gang leader is so tough that he does not even hesitate to wear a Colorado Outward Bound school hat.
I noticed. I have a note about that too.
And then the next thing you know, some lady's got her boobs out.
All of them.
And I thought, I bet that wasn't in the script.
Nope.
I bet they're just having a good time.
No, Park Woo-sang was like, oh shit, I don't even have to pay extra for this. And these look like ladies who can crush beer cans with their boobs.
Yeah, well, unless it's a bottle and they open them with their teeth.
True.
Or their boobs.
Yep. Jeff and his goons show up, party down with the Yoshida and his ninjas in the bar. And Yoshida is just racking up the ladies.
Now, what I like about him is you can tell this dude loves his hair. Because there's going to be a moment a little bit later when he's riding his motorcycle, just tossing his head around, just loving the way that feels, just flowing through his hair.
Yep. He's got an ascot.
And you're probably thinking, oh, he must have a really majestic, like flowing locks. Nope. No, not really.
Nope. You described it earlier as Phil Collins hair.
Yeah. It's like it's like your dad in the 80s, or quite literally our dad in the 80s. That's about all it is.
Yep. At Dragon Sound HQ, the boys all chill. Mark checks in on everybody. Tom's writing some music. John's doing some homework. And then in the morning, more letters come in for Jim, but nothing from the DOD about his dad. And then they go to school where everybody is just so jazzed to meet Dragon Sound.
And this is when I was like, holy shit, wait, they're students?
Yeah.
When was this introduced? I must have gotten up to pee or something the first time because this was out of nowhere. I was like, you can't throw this shit at me now. I'm already invested in the drugs and in the lady with her boobs out. Fucking terrible music.
No, it does. It hits you with a lot all at once.
I was so confused.
It's a little much to keep up with. Yeah. So Jeff's goons are waiting in the parking lot for them.
Oh no.
So now Dragon Sound drive off to get some pizza.
And they're so excited about this pizza.
Oh fuck, dude. They're going to Pizza Hut, wouldn't you be?
They're like, pizza? Oh, pizza. I read 2 books this month. I get 2 personal pan pizzas. You like pizza too, don't you? I like pizza with pepperoni.
Oh man, I would do unspeakable things for a Pizza Hut.
Is that not a thing?
There's
Do they not
not
have
around
those
here.
anymore?
There's no Pizza Huts.
Is Pizza Hut gone?
I think so.
My neighbor the other day got KFC delivered, and I thought, where the fuck is there a KFC? And also, why would you order KFC?
Listen.
There is literally a fried chicken store 3 doors down.
But you get it. They have the 11 herbs and spices?
You're not gonna.
No,
you are not
don't.
about to sell fast food to me.
No, they fucking don't. They do not have the 11 herbs and spices. They do not pair with the potatoes, with the mashed potatoes and the coleslaw. I rest my case.
Oh, your case is garbage, just like their food.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they kidnap Kitty Paws.
When the band goes into the Pizza Hut, they snatch Tom when nobody's looking. They throw him in the truck, and he says, "Mark's gonna get you."
Yeah. And my note just says, "Oh no, they're kidnapping Kitty Paws." That is underneath a note that says, "What's happening?"
They take him back to the cocaine gym where they rough him up.
I think I told you recently. I was writing a morbid thing, and my notes just keep saying, "I'm so sorry. I'm really very sorry."
Oh,
wish I hadn't chose this one.
So
Just like in this one, my notes just keep being like, "What is going on?"
So now a bunch of crystal meth enthusiasts show each other some sweet break dance moves. When Jane shows up to talk to Jeff, but he's not there. There's
And these
this
guys,
scene is not what the purpose of this scene is not clear whatsoever.
no, not even a little bit. And it's just these guys are legit hillbillies.
Yeah.
Like they look scummy as hell, and like all of them have been to prison, and that's not like I know a lot of people have been to prison. And I have a lot of friends who've been to prison. Like it's fine,
but like
these dudes keep going back.
Minor felonies, like like assault charges, maybe a little breaking and entering.
These are like Richie keeps going back. Like it's that kind of like if I had to be like, who do you know who keeps getting thrown in jail? Richie. It's that.
Yeah, my neighbor. I got a neighbor who I swear to God.
Oh no, your neighbor, the one you keep getting fights with.
No, not that guy. Jesus Christ, I got two of these guys. No, but this guy actually hasn't been to prison in a while.
Yeah, that's because you live in Western New Hampshire.
Yeah.
But, the Orlando of New Hampshire.
Yeah. Jane shows up to talk to Jeff, but he's not there. That's because he's got Tom all tied up at the train tracks again.
Oh, but you know what? Their improv skills, though, on point. And this is where it's like,
direction was, okay, harass her.
Yeah, and this is where you realize there's no script for this. Because they're just like, oh yeah, you're looking for Jack. Oh yeah, you look real good. She looks real good. Well, why don't you go find? Well, you should go find your boyfriend. Where's your boyfriend? Oh yeah, you look real good. I'm just like, I can't move on.
And then they do the wiggly thing with the arms.
They do.
Yep. This time the gang is armed with guns and shit. They're fucked though because Dragon Sound is pissed.
Well, they are because they legit kidnapped one of their friends.
Yeah. So the band sneaks up on the spot for a stealth mission.
Now, here's what I wonder though: how did they know where they were keeping Kitty Paws?
Doesn't matter.
Did they leave another note?
They probably left another note. I mean, they're courteous like that.
Folded into the shape of a swan.
Right. To let you know they mean business. So they sneak up on them. They narrow the gang down little by little until another big ass fight breaks out.
There's a great moment in this scene where like they sneak. So Mark and one of the other guys, I don't know which one, sneak up. There's like two dudes. It's like sitting on the dock of the bay, like just hanging out, they drinking, sharing a bottle or whatever. And they sneak up beneath them and like grab one and pull him down by his legs. And the other one doesn't notice. And what I love about that is that I have been playing Oblivion, the new remaster of Oblivion lately. And it's like, because it's a game from like 2004 or 5 or whatever, it's the kind of thing where you can have two bad guys standing next to each other and you can silently kill one of them and the other one doesn't notice, even though they are right next to each other. And that's what happens in this scene is he just yanks the one guy down and drags away. The other one's just like, do.
Oh, I think the same shit happens in Assassin's Creed. Yeah. This fight's a little gory because John and Mark have these training swords with them. Pretty sure that guy with the neck wound died.
Oh no, this goes because this is essentially the end of the movie.
I think,
right?
Yeah, I think that this was the originally scripted end of the movie.
And it just, things go south real fast. And I was like, well, wait a minute, what happened to the gentle, peaceful Dragon Sound guys? Because they are hacking dudes up.
Oh, they're like dudes are falling off of like.
They're cutting into their shit. Like just stabbing them in the face and shit.
Dude gets chopped in the neck, and it's one of those blood, like those like gushing wounds. It's pretty great. Mark does that awesome Tony Jaa move where he runs up on a guy's thigh and kicks him in the face.
Okay, but it doesn't look as cool when he does it.
I think it looked great. This time Jeff gets in on the fight. He's got skills, but he's not good enough to take on Mark. They fight on the elevated platform until Jeff falls off, cracking his head on the cement below, and he dies.
Because we get like a real like one of those cheap like knockoff Jet Li moments, like when Jet Li would like jump off of one side of the building and then bounce off the other and kick the guy in the face.
Yeah.
Which I think is actually just a Jackie Chan thing. But like we get some kind of lower budget versions of those in this.
They're still impressive as hell because nobody in America.
I can't do it. So
Yoshida and his ninja gang, they hang out in Miami and are given the bad news. Jeff's gang is defeated and he's dead. Also, Yoshida is Jeff's brother?
Hey, why not?
Does this make him Jane's brother as well?
I don't know anymore. And it would not explain anything.
Nope. No, he vows revenge. Nobody escapes the Miami Ninja.
So what I read when I was like, he was, these interviews with him, and he was talking about writing the script because he was like, oh, well, yeah, like it came to me, was it Park Woo-sang is his name?
Yeah.
He was like, he came to me with this sort of vague story idea. I filled in a bunch of gaps, and then I brought in my friend who's a student of mine. We all kind of wrote the script together and made it all work out. And they were like, oh, so you've never written a movie script before? Surprise. And he was like, no, we just bought a bunch of books.
Yeah.
And that's how we learned to write the script. And I was just like, I think you should get your money back.
They bought Save the Cat and completely misunderstood it.
Apparently all these filmmaking books that you bought didn't mention blocking in any of them because just about every other scene has somebody just sort of standing in front of the camera.
The ninjas, they all hit the old fitness trail again and prep for their final revenge.
Oh, and it is going to be big.
Oh, man. The next morning, fresh home from killing Jeff and his gang of goons, Jim checks the mail and get ready because he is excited to receive a letter from his dad.
And here, but I will say this is also in the previous moment. That's when I realized that the Ninja Assassins were a separate gang from the White Blues gang.
I'm gonna listen. This is not unusual. The very first time I watched this movie, I was also every bit as confused as you. I have sussed this out through multiple viewings of this movie.
And it was like, it was very bizarre. I was like, I thought they were the same thing.
Nope.
But then he gets this thing. And this is when I realized the last letter he got, the way that he responds to it is like, we're very sorry to report to you that your father is dead. That's what I thought was happening when he got that first letter.
Nope.
So when he gets this letter, I was like, what the fuck? All of that dramatic bullshit earlier was just because they didn't find the dude?
Nope. That was it. Yeah. Because he was frustrated
floored.
from years of searching for his dad.
I was floored by that.
But you get more, you get more, you get really more of that Jim action. He is
Jim, he's the heart and soul of the podcast.
Precisely what I was about to say.
And none of them will escape the Miami Ninja.
No, oh God, no. So the band comes out.
But in fact, they actually will escape the Miami Ninja quite handily.
The band comes out to celebrate, lifting Jim up on their shoulders and marching him around. Then they pool their money so Jim can buy a suit.
So this is when I was like, oh, this guy had better die.
Well,
Jim had better die because there is a lot of fanfare for Jim going to see his dad.
Oh, it is the most heaviest of handed.
You would think he's going to get married to his dad. And meanwhile, that tall, lanky motherfucker, he's got on a half shirt and a cotton blazer. It is a bold look.
Right. With Jim all suited up to meet his dad, they get ready to head out to the airport to pick him up. Jane's been missing for a while or something.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
She
comes back later.
She apologizes and makes up with John. It's all good. They had no choice. They had to kill
She's
her.
like, you know what? I didn't really like my brother that much anyway.
Right. And then they kiss and everybody around them smiles and watches. It's definitely not weird.
That is literally the gist of it. Is she's just like, you know what? He was an asshole.
Yep.
That's what happens to assholes. What can you do?
John's like, listen,
I love you, John.
I feel so bad. We had no choice. We had to kill him. And she's like,
I had to stab your brother in the face.
Yeah. I love you, John. And he's like, I love you, Jane. And then they kiss and everybody is like beaming from ear to ear.
It's really awkward.
Yeah. Then they kick it, head for the airport, but on the way they're boxed in by motorcycle cocaine ninjas.
This is when the guy goes, you can hear one of them go, oh, ninjas.
Yep, those ninjas.
It's the greatest moment.
Those ninjas are up to no good. And they like surround them and fucking Mark is like, we don't want any trouble. Like, hey, leave us alone, guys.
Look, I think we are well past leave us alone, guys.
So they attack. And Mark, John, and Jim jump into the creek to fight them off. And it's all going pretty well until one of the ninjas slashes Jim across the torso with his sword. This time.
You remember the baby cart, the first one? The Lone Wolf and Cub, and the first one where they have the fight in the water?
Yeah.
It's like that, except it's Central Florida.
And that water
It's the Central Florida version of that.
That water smells crazy.
And it is full of rats. Full of rats.
And alligators.
I mean, what better combination could you have?
I told you about the time that I was almost eaten by an alligator.
I feel like you haven't.
I must have told you this story. Well, we'll do it for the benefit of the listeners. I went down to a bar that was down the street from where I lived, and I was meeting a friend from school there, and it was free beer until 11 o'clock, which is
a bad idea.
A bad idea. And so I went down there and I drank all fucking night. And then at a certain point, I was like, well, I'm gonna go home. And I get up and the entire room turns fucking sideways. And I'm like, oh no. Oh fucking no. And I make my way. I'm about halfway home and I'm like, I'm so tired right now. I'm so tired. I think I'm just gonna lay down here for a minute on the sidewalk.
Now, see, I used to do that, but I was driving a car.
And I lay down and I'm like, laying on the sidewalk. And and down there, the berm goes down to like basically like a canal essentially. And I'm sitting there and I hear something like rustling around in the sort of like in the grass and in the water down below. And I'm like, that doesn't sound good. And so I kind of like pick myself up a little bit and I look down and it's dark. It's like the middle of the night, but there's enough street light for me to like make out the shape of essentially like an alligator that's like starting to creep its way up the fucking bank toward me. And I'm like, oh, God damn it. And so,
now, what you got to remember is you can hold their mouths closed.
I did not know that.
So they have a very strong bite.
Yeah.
They have one of the strongest, most powerful bites of all animals in the world.
Yeah.
But their jaws are not very strong. So they can slam them shut very quickly, but they can't open them very easily. So you can literally just wrap like a rubber band. That's why they like tape their mouths shut.
Oh, no shit.
Because they can't really open them very easily.
Yeah.
So you can literally just hold their mouth closed if you need to.
Huh.
And then poke it in the snout and make fun of it.
Good
Say unkind things about it.
That's good to know.
You're like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
No, I got up and very quickly made my way back home where I vomited violently.
Now, here's the thing about my life. I don't live places where there are alligators. Though one time, Michael and I were coming back from the bar and I was, I don't know, presumably yammering on about one of my dumbass interests. And he went totally silent all of a sudden.
And you were attacked by turkeys.
Well, no, not quite. But I was like, well, what's going on? And he was like stammering. And I look at him and then I look where he's looking. And there is literally a raccoon in a tree at my face level, hissing wildly. And I was like, why were you not saying anything? And he was like, I couldn't get it out. And I was like, I could have been killed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Adventures with wildlife in urban environments, no less.
Yeah.
It's like an animal attacks movie.
Oh, I wouldn't know anything about that, apparently. Challenge accepted.
Yep. So, so now Jim is dying and Mark is doing.
And it is he is doing everything.
It is.
Mark is doing everything.
This
screaming.
Mark is screaming.
His screaming.
Jab.
I was laughing out loud by just he is doing it for the back row.
Yep.
Father. It is unbelievable. It is so good. And this was the point where I was like, oh, I didn't care about this movie before. I am all in now.
Yeah, it's like a light came on over your head and you're like, oh shit, I get it.
Because I had said to you before I started watching this, like, because you were like, oh, I wanted to get the thing and the 4K didn't arrive before. And I was like, yeah, I was going to order it. But I thought, when am I ever going to watch this movie again? And by the end of it, I was like, oh, I will watch this movie again. I will so watch this movie again.
Yeah. So it's on now. Like it's on.
He goes fucking Full Metal Jacket
John
at this
and
point.
Mark go ape on these ninjas, just stealing their swords and slashing everybody up.
And John is like, he stabs a dude in the face, and there's just blood like spewing right back into his face.
Great.
In the most hilarious way.
It is so violent and so gory.
And I will say, like, they clearly didn't have a lot of money for this movie. And the special effects aren't great, but they're not terrible. They're pretty, they're pretty good. Like, I watched that amazing movie last night, Sinners. Like, the special effects in that were not quite this, but like they weren't that good either. Like, they do a pretty good job in this.
Yeah. Yeah. At some point, John's shirt comes off and he just starts screaming and growling at everybody.
And this guy's got like a fucking 12-pack. Now he's 8 feet tall. So there's that. But I was just like, my God.
Blood is spraying everywhere. A ninja gets slashed in the face. It's fucking
That's when
awesome.
the blood starts spewing back in his face.
And when it's over, one ninja remains and he crawls up on his boss and tells him that it's over. They're all dead.
Well,
so Yoshida, the white ninja who's just been hanging out meditating, chops the dude's head off. And
presumably fluffing his hair.
Probably. Yeah. He could have been. He's like, this is like Marge, I want to see what that little Asian guy is doing. He hasn't done anything yet.
It's very much that. Where he's like, we have failed you. And he's like, well, you know what the punishment is for that. And then he cuts his head off.
Yep. And laughs. So now Mark runs up on the white ninja for the big showdown. They do
literally. My note right now says, who'd have thought a battle of the bands would lead us here?
Yep. They do a sword fight and he disarms Yoshida, who at times is very clearly a white stuntman in a white ninja suit.
Yeah.
They fight some more and the white ninja produces a small knife. Looks like Mark has him beaten, knocked out, but the white ninja runs up on him from behind with the knife.
I mean, you took out a small knife. That's his thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He knows how to do that the best.
We've been waiting for it to happen.
That's Chekhov's tiny knife.
We saw what you can do with taekwondo.
Yeah, you can be gentle and kind.
Yep. So
until the end, when you fucking murder everybody,
Mark
without any restraint.
So Mark intercepts it and reverses it on the ninja, stabbing him to death. See how useful taekwondo is? You can even beat ninja motorcycles with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like what you can be gentle, you can be kind, you can be peaceful. You can also slaughter a bunch of ninjas if you have to.
Yep.
And you will.
So John drives Mark and Jim to the hospital where they meet up with Jim's dad. He's going to
be
fine.
And I thought, how are they going to explain any of this to the Florida Fish and Game Commission?
Yep.
And then I was also like, wait, Jim lasted this long? Like, he just sat there bleeding to death while they fucked up a bunch of ninjas?
Mm-hmm. So they wheel Jim out and his dad apologizes for walking out on him.
His dad, who appears to be about the same age as the rest of them.
He's got like white makeup in his hair.
Yeah.
He's going to make everything's right. And then we close on a title card, which informs us that only through the elimination of violence can we achieve world peace.
After you just fucking savagely murdered a ton of people.
Roll credits.
Oh my God. It is
one of the most charming works of oblivion I have ever seen.
And I think when you would say, because you were like, this is not that much different, I started to kind of look at it differently. And I was like, we've watched a lot of garbage lately, like bad karate movies. And like, so let's be fair. The writing in this movie is terrible. The acting is wooden as hell. The story is confounding. But it has this charm that comes from like a level of sincerity and enthusiasm that most movies, I would say the last time I saw a movie that was made with this level of enthusiasm, it was probably like a Ruben Galindo movie.
Yeah.
Where you're like, your movie is terrible.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Your enthusiasm for what you do is so infectious.
Martial arts version of Don't Panic.
Yeah, like you're so into this that I love it because you love it.
Uh-huh.
That is a very special thing. That is a thing that you cannot discount that because there's so many fucking terrible martial arts. Chuck Norris is a terrible person. Jean-Claude Van Damme is an absolute dumpster of a person. Steven Seagal is Steven Seagal. It's like, there's so much bad, terrible shit made by awful men that when you come across something, it's like, look, you made an awful movie. This is a objectively awful film. And yet, your love of it kind of makes me love it a little bit too.
Yeah.
And it makes me want to then show it to other people.
Which is amazing that because this is the common reaction to this movie. Like if you have listened, go out there and like seek out other podcasts about this. How did this get made?
And this has been one that everybody has done.
Yeah. Like it was very, very popular for a while. Like we're getting around to it kind of late, but like this is the common reaction to it. How the people in like 1987, as he was showing it to these distributors, did not see that is amazing to me.
Well,
unless they were just looking at it purely from a business point of view, but just everybody.
I'm sorry. Did you think they were looking at it in another way?
Somebody must have looked at this movie.
No,
like even the reviewers must have looked at this movie. How could they have not seen the heart in it?
They tried to, and that was why they softened their reviews so much, because they were like, I want to tell you to go see this movie, but I cannot, as a professional film critic, tell you this is good. But like, what did we open this store? I told you I went to see Sinners, and you said Warner Brothers is trying to tank this movie, essentially. They don't give a shit. We're well beyond the studio system that appreciated art.
Yeah.
By the late 80s.
I suppose that was a really kind of a stupid thing to say, because I mean, especially given the climate that he was trying to sell this in, like he was not, I mean, apparently he did submit it to like some of the big ones, but this was probably going out to companies that like released like 3 videotapes and then vanished, that sort of thing. So,
and by the late 80s, every one of these fucking studios was owned by some giant corporation who just installed a bunch of yes men. And that's why movies from 1983 to basically now are terrible, because it became, everything was a profit motive. And this stuff like this doesn't fit in. And, to be fair, I can't imagine any big company would look at this and be like, yeah, sure, why not? But you could at least look at it and be like, I appreciate what you did. It's not right for us. Instead of being like, this is garbage, burn it and then kill yourself.
Right.
Which was basically how they responded to it. Like, but I think that's what I fucking hate about essentially the world. But like the fact that like people look at this stuff and they're like, oh, this dumb schlock. And yeah, it is dumb schlock, but it fucking matters. Like someone put everything they had into this, all their money, all of their fucking creativity, everything they loved went into this movie, and everybody turned around and shit on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's why when I see people, I don't give a fuck what they're doing. They could have a terrible podcast or do bad art. And I'm just like, just fucking keep doing it, man. We need everybody to do their thing.
Yeah.
And everybody overwhelm the fucking system with your bad art, because you love it and other people will love it too. Keep fucking doing your bad art.
I love it. Yeah. It has a special, very unique charm, and I am so fucking glad that they just unleashed this into the world. It looks like other martial arts movies. It has a cheapness about it that is undeniable, but none of those movies have the heart that is. They don't have that infectious energy. Like
that's why when people are always like, oh, you have a podcast. I'm like, yeah, about these movies. And they're like, oh, so it's like Mystery Science Theory. You make fun of them. And I'm like, well, not really. I'm like, we kind of make fun of them, but I always go out of my way to be like, I want you to understand, we genuinely love these movies. Mm-hmm. Like, I love when people give it their all. And it might be bad, and I might think it's funny when it's not supposed to be funny, but I appreciate it because they fucking did the thing.
Yeah. I fucking love it. Miami Connection, you guys. Get
out there, watch
an adventure.
It's on Pluto if you don't mind sitting through 1,000 commercials.
The AGFA release is really fucking good too. It's well worth owning. There's a lot of
I might have to buy it.
There's a lot of information on there. YK Kim is a very, very interesting guy. It's
amazing that I don't own it. I will buy literally anything. So we'd be like, hey, here's a movie from 1982. And I'm like, say no more. And they're like, no, we haven't even told you what it is yet. I'm like, I know. Here's $50. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh boy. I'm so glad that we got around to this. I'm so glad that it mysteriously appeared on our schedule.
Yeah, well, the fates fates aligned.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you got to experience it and really received it in the spirit intended.
See, that's the thing with me. I have to do it in my time on my timeline. Someone's like, "Here, you got to watch all these kung fu movies," and I'm like, "No, I have to wait until I'm middle aged to properly appreciate those films."
Right. All right. So that being said, where are we off to next?
Well, next week, Bring Me the Axe will return. And I'll tell you what, everything will be all right. There'll be no more feeling uptight because it's prom night. Prom night.
Oh, I can't wait. I cannot wait to discuss the music in that one.
Fucking killer
So
soundtrack.
great.
I love that soundtrack. And then, hey, in 2 weeks, 99-cent Rental will be back with a Rutger Hauer post-apocalyptic sci-fi movie I've never even heard of.
This is one that I hope will surprise you in the same way.
I just want everybody to know you chose most of the movies for 99-cent Rental this year.
By the time that we started putting our schedule together for this year, most of the Bring
It's
the
a
Axe
fair
ones,
trade. I took most of the other ones.
most of the Bring the Axe ones were filled up, and they were all by you, and I was fine with that. I don't give a shit. I'm excited for most of them.
I just don't want anyone to blame me for being like, "Hey, why you guys?" It's like someone let a 12-year-old program your whole show for all of 2025, and essentially someone did, and that somebody was me.
So yeah. It's Blood of Heroes, also known as Salute to the Jugger.
There's a new, a big fucking fancy version that just came out of Imprint, I think, or Umbrella.
Is Indicator putting it out?
I think it's Umbrella.
Umbrella putting it out? Yeah. I was hoping to have it in time for this, but it doesn't come out until August.
And that shit takes forever to ship.
Yeah. But yeah. So be back here in a week as we boogie down with Prom Night. And then be back in 2 for more Rutger Hauer nonsense. It's also got Joan Chen and Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh.
That's Blood of Heroes. Salute to the Jugger. We'll see you then.